Hello everybody, today our destination is Nottingham via the Midland Main Line, but before we get to that we're going to take a little bit of a look at some of South London. Since the Midland Main Line connects nicely with Thameslink at St Pancras, I thought it'd be a good time to take a look at that. So we're going to take a train through from Wimbledon to Luton Airport Parkway and then watch the service from Luton to Nottingham. So although we've seen some of South London before, with the addition of some of the graphical changes and in general tidying things up a bit, it looks a little bit different now than it did back in, for instance, the Kent video, which was quite a few months ago now. Since London was the first thing that I built on this map, there is a lot that can be done to refine it, tidy up junctions, make things a little bit prettier, and I've been going back to do that a little bit in between, expanding the map in other directions. So the area that we're about to enter from Waterloo, Charing Cross, Cannon Street, London Bridge, Blackfriars is one of the most crowded areas on the map. It's very difficult to try and squeeze all the required stations in. I don't think we ended up having to compromise too much. Some of the Thameslink tracks to Elephant and Castle haven't been put in, but they're not really used in off-peak service anyway, so that's not too much of a problem. So at this point we'll get to the underground Thameslink lines through central London. You also get to take a look, what I think will be probably the first look, at some of the underground platforms at the other stations. The only one here that's pretty much entirely unused at the moment is King's Cross. All the underground platforms here will be used by the East Coast mainline services. The only thing we have there at the moment is the Peterborough and Cambridge ones, so there's nothing to see of that just yet. So you might notice that at a couple of points on this route, this train has slightly extended waits at stations. I think it was Elephant and Castle and Cricklewood. This, as usual, is just to keep the trains to timetable, and that's particularly important on this route for a couple of reasons. One is because it's a really busy track through the central Thameslink tunnel, so we don't want things to get held up there. The other thing is that when we get into this part of the route, the slow services, of which this is one, and the fast services, which are the Bedford to Brighton trains, have to be fairly precisely timetabled, because the fast services, like that one that's overtaking us now, have to switch over to the fast lines and then get back onto the slow lines, perhaps at Radlett or just after St Albans. I'm not sure exactly, but the point is they have to get there before we do, so it's important to hold up this service so that that doesn't go wrong. So yeah, that's one of the things that requires a bit more precision, since that train, also the fast Thameslink train, also has to get through onto the slow lines before the even faster East Midlands Trains Express service comes through. But it all seems to work pretty well. It did require a bit of tinkering at first, but it's not too bad now. So this train is now on the final stretch to Luton. We'll leave it at Luton Airport Parkway. And as we arrive at Airport Parkway, we've got about a 25-minute wait for the connection, which will speed up a little more than usual. And then we'll be joining the slow East Midlands trains service to Nottingham. It's still not especially slow, but the fast one only stops at Market Harbour and Leicester, and probably East Midlands Parkway as well. Whereas we'll be stopping at a few of the smaller stations between Luton and Nottingham. So the Midland Main Line and everything you'll see from here on in is fully populated with all the services that you'll find on the timetable. The Sheffield trains, however, are only running as far as Derby, because haven't built anything of the main line north of Derby. The lines to Sheffield are fairly high up the agenda now that I've been getting to grips with Greater Manchester. I've built most of the local services around there, including the Manchester Metrolink, so heading across the Pennines to Sheffield will probably be next up. But for the time being, everything that would go north of Derby is terminating there, including all the cross-country trains that will eventually be heading through Sheffield, Yorkshire and up to Scotland. So we're getting to the point with this map where a significant proportion of it is complete, and I'm beginning to think that it will actually be possible to get the whole of the off-peak UK rail network onto this map. I mean, when I started off I wasn't at all sure that it'd be possible without the game grinding to a halt because of the CPU load, but it's difficult to work out exactly what proportion of the trains and services are on, but I reckon it's over half now. It may even be significantly over half. There are currently about 14 or 1500 convoys on this map, and I reckon we'll end up somewhere between 2300 and 2500. And given that the game is running with acceptable performance now, I think that probably won't change too much before the end. It's still possible that I could run into some catastrophic bug as a result of the sheer size of the map, but I'm hoping that won't happen. Still, there is a lot of work remaining to be done on the map. In particular, Yorkshire and the Scottish Central Belt are going to pose quite significant challenges, and they're the main big areas that still remain to be done. So there has been one graphical change since the last video, and that's that I've updated the platforms. I've always been using something called the WA platform set, which I found on the Japanese Simutrans site, japanese.simutrans.com, and I've downloaded a new version of that which has some significantly improved platform graphics, and I've adapted them a little bit to add to this map. There's kind of subtle differences. You can probably notice it a little more in screenshots than in this video itself. So we're approaching Nottingham now. At Nottingham Station, I've just updated this to the new station layout. You might know Nottingham Station just closed for a few weeks while they re-signalled the whole area and added a new platform, and I've just updated this. The platform allocations are not entirely authentic because of the way I'm doing the cross-country services, but the station layout is right as of the reopening last week. You'll notice that the Matlock train coming off platform 1 takes a rather interesting route out of the station, which shows that I haven't quite got the track layout right yet. So to end this video, we'll just watch some services coming in and out of Nottingham Station, and I'll say thank you for watching, and I hope you tune in for the next video.